Okay. All right, thank you. All right, so the first thing is confirmation of board member attendance. So we have Carrie, Allie, and we have myself, and we're trying to get Darlene. So we still have a quorum, so I think we should move forward. The next item is approval of voucher. And I haven't seen one come, but I'm sure for the Cranberry Isles, but it should be coming. Haley.
Oh, she's logged. Oh, there she is.
Hi, Darlene.
Sorry, she put her out of the and that's waiting until the credit card bill comes in next week to run it. And then Nancy's hopefully gonna be able to slide the due date up so that we can align it better with our voucher so that we're not like behind in the payments. So that will go out next week, and I'll text you guys when it's in your email so you know to look for it.
Okay. All right, so we'll look for that next week. Thank you. Hi, Darlene, welcome.
Hi.
So approval of minutes from November 6th. That was, we met at Ashley Bryan School. Has anybody had a chance to review those? Yeah. Does somebody want to make a motion to approve them?
I make a motion.
Okay, thank you, Darlene. Can I get a second?
I second.
Okay. All right. All in favor of the minutes as written, November 6th, 2020?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so that's 3 in favor. Public comment? Have we received anything for public comment?
Amy, I'm not aware. No, I'm not aware of any. And again, if we receive any during the meeting or after, we'll report it out to the school committee and at the next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Reports and updates. So the principal's report, Haley?
Yes, sorry, I haven't shared this with you through Google Docs yet. Let me find it and I can share my screen. And then it will be in your email after the meeting. I have too many tabs up. Here it is. Oh, I can't share my screen. I'll just go through it. So there's no changes in enrollment. We do have some updates in, oh, I think he gave me permission now, in staffing. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So we have hired Caitlin Damon for a 1-year PE teacher position for the Ashley Bryan School. And we're in the final stages of the offer for a teacher on Great Cranberry so that each school would be able to have PE every week instead of having to flip-flop like we would have to do otherwise. So we've basically split the position in half so that the budgeted amount is the same. And just because we're not paying the whole chunk for someone to commute out here and back, we're able to use the whole position for actual PE time. So that is working out really well. So I should be able to have a final update next week on the Longfellow PE teacher. We also have a guidance offer pending. So that's really exciting. And next week, the special ed long-term sub ad will be posted on Serving Schools. And we'll move forward with finalizing that substitute position for the end of the year. Any questions about that? Okay. I don't have a lot of updates for what's happening in the school. We're just kind of continuing. We're in a good rhythm now. We're doing our academic core work in the morning. We're doing the outdoor hands-on learning, science, STEM, all that stuff in the afternoons. And our specials are most specials are in the afternoons. So that's been going really well. In terms of our facilities, update, Penobscot Cleaning did do the COVID preventative clean at both schools. And, they did like really deep cleaning stuff that we've probably never had done, like vents and airways and all kinds of stuff. So that was really great to have that done. Using both buildings is continuing to go well. Everything's just kind of humming along. I'm glad we're still, in person. This feels kind of like bonus time. And that's exciting. And then the one other update I was going to add is, and Mark may mention this, that the district is moving forward with their testing program. And Cranberry Isle teachers are going to participate in the benchmark testing portion of that. So I think that's really good, where we have sort of, some of us are in outside communities coming onto the island. So we'll all get tested next week and be kind of part of that initial phase of the program. And then we'll have a representative in the small cohort that continues to have regular testing. So that program is really exciting that the district has launched that to sort of monitor where we are with the virus in terms of our actual district, which is exciting. And then I have a December calendar that will go out to parents this morning in the newsletter. And but there's nothing big coming up out of the normal the rest of the month. So kind of a boring report, but if there's any questions, be happy to answer them.
Haley, you still have that report, I think, up on the screen.
Yeah, I was just going to leave it up for a second.
Oh, okay.
If
Sorry.
there are any questions.
Yep. Sorry.
No, that's fine. Are we good? All right. I'm done.
I don't have any questions. Anyone else? Okay.
Amy, I don't know when you'd like to do this, so I don't see it on the agenda, but we have an update on the elevator repair project.
Okay.
So whenever you'd like to do that, we can provide you that information.
Now sounds like a good time, Mark. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you all for your support and patience. I'm pleased to report the project's done successfully, and I'm pleased to report that it came in under budget. And Nancy can give a quick overview. If you recall, we got a credit on the original device. They came in, they removed it at no cost to us, issued us a refund, which we deposited, and then we set aside funds in a previous budget to do the repair work. We worked with Maine Accessibility Corporation and Nate Holyoke Builders, and they were both phenomenal. They did a great job, and it's been inspected. So now I think the only question is, how much did we spend? Nancy?
Okay. Yes, you had 30,000 from the elevator, the refund, and you had 36 in your budget for last year. So you had a total of 66,000, and the elevator itself came in a little bit higher. It was like 33,045, but the installation came in less. It was like 27 something. And so we have actually a total of just over 60 grand. So you have around 5,000 that you can actually, that you have it as a balance, basically, after some of it fell, most of it in last fiscal year, but there were some bills in this fiscal year. So what we'll do after those are paid, and those have all been paid, you'll have around 5 grand.
So Nancy, a question, if the school committee does, so that's good news. If the school committee chooses to do nothing, that money would roll into carry forward, correct?
Correct.
Or if they'd like, they could transfer that to their maintenance reserve, correct?
Yes, that actually would be a good idea, where it's not funds that, I mean, yes, the 36 was budgeted, but the other funds were received as a refund. It would be a good little jump to your maintenance reserve to jumpstart that.
Right.
So Amy, I think, and school committee, I'm really pleased. We've got that wrapped up. Hopefully get it squared away. But so, for the public, it's good news. We came in under budget, and you don't have to make a decision today on that money.
No.
Okay. Are we going to need to make a motion at some point to move if we want to move it into
If-
the
if-
reserve?
Yeah,
That's a Nancy question, but I think the answer is yes.
yes,
Okay.
you would. Yes.
All right, well, we got a lot of budget stuff to talk about anyways, so.
Yep. Yep.
Mark, thank you for your report on the
Yep.
elevator, and I,
Sure.
look forward to, trying it out, maybe in a
Yeah.
year or two. I don't know when I'd ever do that again.
Yes. Well, thank you guys for your patience. It was a long haul, but we got it done, and I'm really pleased. So actually, I want Carrie to be the first one to try it.
No. She looks like she's ready to go.
Okay.
Never.
Thank you.
Never.
Thank-
I will wheelchair myself up the stairs.
Oh, now, come on now. It's all safe. Thank you, Amy.
That's wonderful that it came in under budget too.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. They were great to work with.
Thank you.
So,
Okay, so let's move on to discussion items, and we've got transportation on there. I know we were talking about like high schoolers getting to school to class at the high school with a taxi. Is there anything else? Haley, do you have an update on that? Is that?
I don't really have an update on that. Nothing has changed. There haven't been any issues brought to my attention for any of the high schoolers. Like we talked about, the cost last week was more reasonable than kind of any other alternative. So unless you're aware of anything that I should investigate more, I think it's working for everybody so far.
Okay, great. Great. Anything else about transportation, anybody? Okay. Well, then let's move on to the budget.
So Amy, if I could, before Haley starts, just give a quick overview. So
Okay,
I hope
go ahead.
the school committee has had an opportunity to look at this preliminary information. Couple things to put in mind that we're very conscious of the times we're in. And so this budget for next year, this draft, reflects operating 2 schools. Now, I want to give a caveat. That's if everything that we're experiencing now remains the same. We are committed to moving back to the rotation of the schools on each island. But given current conditions, the uncertainty of where we are, we have budgeted to keep both facilities open, cleaned, and staffed. So that's important to note in this budget. I'm really proud of the work that Haley did and Nancy did, because if you look at that, reflecting 2 schools, which by the way, we would do anyways if we have wind days and so on, but this is long-term sustainability. If you look at that, that increase is really, I think that's something we can be proud of, or I hope we can, because it's not easy to pull that off. This also reflects a placeholder for salary and benefits that has not been determined by the school committee yet. So we've put an amount in there that we feel confident could navigate whatever the school committee decides would be any increases. That's also accommodating for our 10% in health insurance placeholder. It's also accommodating for the fact that for our HRA, we don't believe that we're going to have to put in as much as we initially did. And then lastly, for my part, you're in year 8 of a 10-year payment on the Longfellow School. That's great news for 2 reasons. In 2 years, that'll be paid off. Awesome. And I know we've been starting to talk about projects at the 2 schools. I think now would be the time to do our assessment, come up with a list. Certainly we take care of any life safety issues immediately, but any short-term needs or mid-range needs and long-term, thinking about where the communities want to go with their schools. And then you're going to have a significant portion of funds coming off the budget. Obviously, people will look to see a budget reduction, but there's also an opportunity to do an investment in capital and infrastructure in your school. And that's just really good practice. It's kind of like our homes and our cars, spend a lot of money on them and we got to take care of them. So I think that what I would recommend is no major investments in the buildings short of any life safety or our immediate needs, and then look to the next couple years to start to build what the school committee would like to do, and then be really well positioned when that debt comes off. Nancy, did I miss anything? Is there anything you'd like to add?
You're muted, Nancy.
Sorry. No, I think he covered pretty much everything in there.
Can you walk them through, Nancy, the revenue piece, and then,
Sure.
show them like where any of the increases or changes might be, and then we can transition to Haley. She can talk about priorities for the schools and the children. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Basically, your carryover, if you look at the anticipated receipts column, the third column over, for starting this year, we had more carryover than anticipated. And of course, that would be because of COVID a lot too, and just different items. Your state subsidy came in a little higher, and salary, benefits, tuition, room and board, we usually have some left in there. So it's good that your carryover came in higher, which helps for next year. And also you'll see in the notes, I've got carryover saved $40,000. We want to make sure we have kind of a level flow on our town appropriation. We don't want spikes, which, drive everybody crazy, and it's not good with the town either, the taxes. So if everything is, comes out the way we think it's going to, then we still will have $40,000 to help the next year after, which makes sense because you're still coming in with a very low town appropriation increase at this point anyway. The other revenues, we don't have at this point. The teacher rent is not coming in, of course, because nobody's there. So we did not anticipate that for next year either. And state subsidy, we don't have any figures yet, of course. We are going to get 38,618 this year, which is great. And I anticipated going up to 30 grand on that figure because of the costs are still going up, and it looks like that would be a safe figure at this point. So that's it for the appropriation. It looks like it's coming in at about 1.59, given what we've got in the budget right now. And the total budget is coming in at around 4.41 right now. The increase per $100,000 valuation, you'll see that's in yellow. I need to request I got to get the tax calculation sheet from Denise, but I don't anticipate that that's going to be much different. I didn't have a chance to request that. And overall, like Mark said, for the budget itself, we anticipated, Haley and I went through, and one thing pretty well, your enrollments look like they're going to stay pretty level. Your high school tuition, that is pretty much level. What we did was figure the 7 students, there are 7 this year, basically, and then 7 next year. So there's no spikes there. And I just anticipated a 4% increase in the rate as we usually do. And one thing you'll note on the Blue Cross Blue Shield, we did anticipate a 10% increase, but it looks like it's only 5.9. Well, that's budget to budget. And this year we budgeted 10. It came in at 5.9. So our anticipated expenditure is lower, but looking from budget year to budget year, it looks like it's only up the 5.9, which is what it is in reality for your budget. But there is a 10% rate increase in there. And if we find out anything, I know we never do before your town meeting, so it stays in there, but that would just go towards carryover for the next year. So hopefully those rates will come in very low, we're hoping. I guess, are there any questions on that part of it? And then I guess the other items, let's see, we've got overall, we pretty much kept the same items in, and the AOS, we don't have the figure yet for that assessment. That's in colored, and it's in 3 places in your budget. One place is under your special ed. The next place is under the improvement of instruction. And then there's a third one that is under system administration. And those, once we get, and even your percentage, that's why it's in that kind of caramel color, is the note isn't correct either, because I don't have the updated figures yet. So we will finalize that more so for you. Well, for your next meeting, we'll have to have it finalized. Basically, we're just special ed reserve the same. There aren't that many changes overall. In your budget, it's pretty much trying to keep everything as level as possible, but some things we've had to adjust a little bit up and down depending on how things come in. And I think we did adjust down under student transportation. We did adjust that budget. It's down the other way, Haley. It's down towards the end of the budget. There it is, in the bright yellow. We basically, because of the situation with kids not boarding off and more, they're doing the commuting and everything, we lowered the room and board and upped the transportation. It's all in the same cost center, so it may vary from year to year but we think this is a adjustment that needs to take place because, of course, now the kids are commuting more. They're all commuting pretty much, but the other part is that they seem to be commuting more than staying off and boarding, and that may change in the future, but for right now, that's what we were doing for an adjustment.
Okay.
And then operation maintenance, that just more cleaning, more hours. And basically that's a little, the overview. I know Haley can address a lot of the other things more so, but are there any questions?
I mean, it looks great, Nancy. I mean, there's a lot that we've had to adapt to, and I see you've, anticipated that in the budget to come. It's hard to think, this far ahead that COVID's going to be with us for another year, but probably is. I
know it's already you get out your crystal ball is the way I say, you are going so far ahead because you're doing, through the end of June of 22, it's like, okay, and add COVID in there. And, we just want to make sure that we do have the funds available if you need to do certain things. Hopefully we won't be living this same scenario next year.
Right. Okay, does anyone else have questions or anything for Nancy? Okay, then, Haley, did you want to speak to the budget?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much to add. Nancy really highlighted the points that we really changed. The priorities for next year were staffing and just envisioning potentially needing to operate the two schools full time again. So that's where we focused all of our energy. We didn't make any other changes, basically. So yeah, and she kind of pointed those out. So I can kind of go back up to the top. Something else that we do is if we were to have any staffing changes, we budget for a family plan, because you just don't know if we were to get a new teacher and they took a family plan, then that's such a big cost that we put that in there. And that's something, depending on what happens, we may or may not use. So other than that, all the instructional lines, co-curricular, really didn't change at all. And the special education services, we just use the current, numbers and IEPs that we have in place right now and anything that was anticipated. So yeah, I don't have any like global statements to add. I'm not sure, Amy, if you want to go through any sections in particular, or how you'd like me to proceed.
I don't have anything in particular. I mean, I was noticing that, yeah, the transportation and the room and board seem to be offsetting each other, but that's just what's going on in these times. So
yeah, we increased staff travel as well, because last year we did the budget in January, like we do, and Haley moved off island in February, so we hadn't budgeted for a teacher riding every day. We're still fine with our expenditures for this year, but I wanted to budget for that many teachers traveling again next year, if the staffing stays the same. So that's why the staff travel went up a little bit. But again, we just calculated based on Beal and Bunker's current rate and how many people go a day and how many extras we anticipate. So we tried to get close, with everything. And same thing with elementary, we budgeted, if we are able to go to Longfellow, we budgeted for all the Islesford kids to ride the boat every day. And we budgeted to keep both schools cleaned and staffed and whatever. So we were kind of like operating with two scenarios in mind and making sure that we accounted for whichever direction we end up needing to go.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. Well, does anyone else have questions? Something they want to talk about as far as the budget?
Just one point, Amy.
Yes. Yes, Mark.
I got an email from Jim Fortune, and it's likely the town meeting may not be able to happen in one of our schools, so because of COVID. So, working with Jim and Denise and others, we'll keep you posted. So I just want to give you a heads up or put that on your radar. And that's true of all of our schools throughout the ALS. Thank you.
Okay. Do we know, I mean, it's still scheduled for March, right? The town meeting, I think. And so if they're not going to do it,
That's my understanding.
they're probably looking for a location right now, like the fire department or something.
Yes.
Okay. Have we received something from Denise that said, what the deadline is for submitting our budget?
I don't have a deadline, but I need to call her anyway, so I'll find out. It's usually, January, like by mid-January, you've got to have it all signed, sealed, and delivered, basically. And then their town meeting, I believe it's the 14th. It's that Saturday. I think it's either the 13th or 14th of March is what they were. And it was supposed to be on Great Cranberry.
Okay. All right, so I guess we'll just, I mean, it looked like there were still a few things you guys were working on filling in on the bottom. I don't know. Is it all completed? Yeah, okay. So we, oh, I see. Now it's all figured out. So should we vote on it in January then? Is that what we normally do? Yeah.
Yes, this gives you a chance to review it and, look it over. And then between now and then, there may be some tweaks that we need to make to the budget also, given situations that arise. And so that would be the best bet.
Okay. All right. All right, so let's move forward then. Let me see what's next. Action items. We don't have any action items. Other business? Does anybody have other business? No.
I have nothing, Amy.
Public comment? Nobody's here from the public. Future agenda items. So we have the budget. What else do we need for future agenda items?
I'm not aware of anything immediate, Amy, but I'm sure things will come up, and we'll be in touch with you and Haley as we get ready for the next agenda.
Staffing update, I guess. Oh, and we were supposed to talk about the high school transition. We should put that. We got to keep working on that. Remember, Darlene was talking. We were talking about
Yes.
that. Yeah. Okay. So those are 3 future agenda items. Anything else? Okay. Date and time of next meeting. So we've got Friday, January 8th, 2021. Does that work for everybody?
Oh, that's music to my ears, 2021.
So I'm assuming it. Shall we meet at 8:30? Does that work for everybody?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Then we're on to adjournment.
Thank you, everyone. I hope you guys have a great holiday and a safe holiday. And I appreciate everything you guys do. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you,
I make
Mark.
a motion to adjourn.
Okay, thank you. Carrie, you second? All in favor of adjournment? Aye.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.